Welcome back, my minions. Let us get to the review. Just remember to subscribe to join my army, and like the video so I know you are pleased with my rule. We start with the Titans continuing to rampage throughout the Neo-Human city, and the Neo-Humans don't seem to care all that much. One of the Titans is getting bored, probably because they are not getting a reaction out of them, so decides to smash one of them. The Neo-Human dodges it and proceeds to pull out a knife that actually damages it pretty badly, and the others that are around swarm him like ants, cutting him to pieces. After seeing this, the other Titans now acknowledge them as enemies and start pounding on their chest and roaring, transforming them into even more beefier versions of themselves. One hit looks like it kills tens of Neo-Humans, but it still seems they may get overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Ario, seeing the plan worked, decides it's time for them to leave, but as soon as he turns around to face Ram, she gets her throat cut, with a Neo-Human telling him that they knew who they were this whole time and calls him a Paleo-Human. Paleo meaning old, essentially. They quickly assess what the plan was bringing the Titans here and tell him that it's not a big deal to them, and that nothing will interrupt their society. Letting them think their plan was working was all a part of the Neo-Humans' game, having them think they have some kind of hope, and then stamping it out, loving the face of despair on the Paleo-Humans' faces. Hearing all of this fills Ario with rage for how all of humanity in all these different worlds have been treated, and decides to use everything to strike a blow at them. He uses a move that was originally supposed to be for defeating Nyodo, but uses it here. He performs Fairy Union, where his fairy fuses with him for a short time, boosting his abilities, and uses a move called Golden Storm, where he seems to create a cyclone of air that picks up and draws in everyone in the area, bathing it in light. And while they are disoriented from all of this, he can go around slicing them apart. But while he was attacking, he freezes up when he sees kids coming to fight him, and because of that, all of them manage to start ganging up on him. But he still proudly proclaims that humanity's revolution has begun. We cut to the aftermath of it all, with the Neo-Humans still not being that impressed, just surprised a Paleo-Human had that type of an ability. They see one more Titan still standing, but then it transforms into a grotesque, fleshy mass with all kinds of appendages and body parts sprouting from it. Then we see this is our first real look at the parasite enemy of Parasitica, but the Neo-Humans just see this as another new toy they can play with. Ario's fairy Kira manages to make it back to the human base, telling them essentially what happened. Everyone is happy that the plan worked, but also saddened that nobody was able to make it back. The only one that survived was Ario, who is now in their prison, and told them not to come for him. Hollow storms out to cool off and clear his head. But then, seeing all of the kids from different worlds playing together makes him happy, seeing what Ario was protecting. We then see a funny scene of the kids asking if Hollow is okay because he has a missing arm, and he plays it off like it's nothing, but then bangs it on some crates and makes a pretty hilarious face. But then Hollow senses something coming, and we find out that Kiva has found them, and has brought a huge demon army with him, ending the chapter. Alright, let's discuss all the new developments with the natural enemies this chapter. We finally got to see Parasitica, and man is it monstrous. A cool detail is that we actually got a few shots of this particular giant across these past couple of chapters scratching his neck, and now we know why. It may have also seemed like the parasite could not bust out of him until he was weakened, most likely, because they are not used to such large and sturdy creatures to infect. Overall, a cool first impression. The Titans came in with a new surprise, being their battle forms. It seems like they pound on their chest to get something in their hearts going, pumping themselves up with a natural steroid they produce. It now makes sense why grinding down their hearts produces the human drug red, and why it has the effect it does on humans. They seem to massively overpower an individual neo-human, blowing them away in groups in single strikes, but lose out to them in speed and numbers. I would say it seems to take around 50 neo-humans to take out one pumped-up Titan, and without Ario stepping in, they would have only destroyed maybe 5% of the city, since the neo-humans were still not too worried about them. Now, the main focus of this chapter was, of course, the neo-humans. We now see what their culture is like, them putting a clear distinction between them and what they call paleo-humans, just seeing them as toys to play with and manipulate as they see fit. They all also seem to be on the same page, so to speak, with the other neo-humans going about their day, while the proper amount of them deal with the danger of the Titans. They don't even seem to care about children, since we see them engaging in battle like any other adult would. But now they are seeing all the new natural enemies and new toys to play with and enjoy. We even see them having demons in the jail they put Ario in, and they speak about researching them, so they are making moves to know more about the other natural enemies. They could become a major problem in the future, but from what we see, they may be a little too arrogant, which will most likely be their downfall. Now, going on to the human side of things, the mission was a success, but just narrowly getting there, with everyone who went on the mission being killed except for Ario, and his fairy being able to escape, bringing back the news. Ario was massively impressive this chapter, using his ultimate attack to wipe out a good chunk of the enemies. He said that he was saving it to defeat Nudo, but I don't think it would have worked. At worst, it would entertain the Demon King, and at best give him a light injury that he would heal from in a few hours, most likely. It would seem to maybe take 20 or even more heroes using their fairy union to take a single Demon King out, with a decent amount of them probably dying in the process. And this does put up the question of what does Hollow and Pain's fairy union do or look like, because it may not be a battle-oriented form, since Pain seems to be more of a support fairy, and they did not use it when fighting Jachi. It was also sweet seeing all the different kinds of children from the worlds playing together, which each one having a distinct design and the reader being able to tell what world they came from. But we end off the chapter with Kiva coming, and this is not looking good for our group, because depending on how many demons he brought, they might just get overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Alright, that's about it from me this chapter. Make sure to subscribe so you can see the next chapter review, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like the video as well. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.